Here. We are going to be having Team Gravity Debaser against Eternal Dreamers Weightless.
Yep. It does not look like we have a bio for Weightless, unfortunately. So we are going in blind on him. But I'm sure he's a great player. Eternal Dreamers just sending out great player after great player here. All of them have been playing very well.
So after 4 games, we're all tied up 2-2. Team Gravity has 2, and Eternal Dreamers has 2.
Mhm.
Team Gravity coming out with a quick win, and then Eternal Dreamers coming back with 2 in a row of their own, with Debaser then securing a second win to tie it up. So we'll see where it goes from here. Again, thanks for joining us, everyone. This is StarCraft 2 Community Team League. This, if you're unfamiliar with the format, is a King of the Hill best of 9 team format. So since Debaser won the last game, he's going to stay out to take on the opponent that Eternal Dreamers throws out.
Absolutely. This is going to be an interesting game. Once again, we're back into a Terran versus Zerg. I don't think we've seen one of those tonight, actually.
We have not, so this is going to be all new for us.
All right.
So we jump right into the game. It's going to be on the lower right-hand corner from Eternal Dreamers. He is showing the Zerg race this evening, seeing if he can dethrone Debaser after his last win. It is Weightless.
And in the top right, representing Team Gravity in the red trunks, coming off a win against Happy, it is Debaser.
I'd like to know where that name comes from. Weightless is pretty obvious, but Debaser. I'm always curious about where people get their names from. Where did you get yours from?
Well, my name is actually a play on my own last name. My last name is Gallagher, and for whatever reason, when I was in middle school, I had this fixation on words that ended in T-I-O-N.
I remember that.
So that's where that comes from.
Oh,
How about Wingnut? What's the origin story there?
I'm a huge Red Wings fan. What can I say?
Aha.
Oh, there's more numbers. Numbers win games.
Yep.
Did you have any
Using Matt.
nicknames prior to Gallegation, or have you always been Gallegation?
You know, I've always been Gallegation. It kind of got to the point, I think there comes a time in every gamer's life where they look at their name that they go by and think, I kind of want to change that. And then they realize that they've been going by it for so long that it's kind of moot at this point. Every once in a while you'll see it happen in the pro leagues where somebody will try and change their name and everybody's kind of confused for a little bit until they get it. Sometimes they go back to their original one, sometimes they don't.
Looks like we got a command center first out of Debaser this game.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty confident that Weightless isn't going to find him.
With no scouting, though, both players are doing the economic build as we have a hatch first out of Weightless as well, and just now putting down his spawning pool at 16, so fairly standard build out of him with this command center first in base is actually very safe for Terran as well.
And this is such a large map that any defense would be able to come out in time to save these expansions should the other player find them and come at them with aggression. It's just a huge gamble to try and do heavy aggression in the early game on this map because you don't know where they're at, because it's so large. You've only really got like a 33% chance to guess where they're going to spawn.
Yeah, and they definitely got the short end of that stick as both players scout in the exactly opposite direction of where the opponent is. Weightless scouting to the lower left and Debaser scouting to the upper left. But it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a high five here as this SCV is going to walk under the Overlord, so he's going to know exactly where his opponent is a little earlier than if he had to walk all the way in the base. 2 queens coming out for Weightless as soon as that pool finishes. A couple Zerglings as well. Drones, 2 orbital commands right away for Debaser, so he's going to be using this command center to just get an extra mule down here real quick, produce SCVs a little faster, and wait to move it out a little bit till he has a couple Marines to try and defend it.
Yep, he is putting down a bunker at the front, and that's a good idea as there are 2 lings coming in trying to see what's going on in the Baser's base.
There is going to be 2
finish.
Marines there to fill that bunker, so these lings are not going to make it very far.
No. He does manage to get them out without dying, though.
Yeah, it looks like we still haven't seen a whole lot as far as what's coming down. Looks like the, wow, double gas at the natural, a little early. as he didn't get any gas at all right away, so he's going to be going for speed and likely a fairly early layer. More queens coming out, another queen pops. That's likely going to be for some creep tumors. It's 4 queens now, so he's really going to be spreading the creep. I wonder if he's worried about any early banshees or anything like that, because that's 4 queens is quite a few.
Yeah, that is a really safe play, though. Getting 4 queens, it can deal with a lot of early aggression. They are pretty strong, and then you, like you said, you can get that creep spread going all over the place, and that's great for vision, and it also speeds up your units for Zerg when you're running along that. So that can be a huge game changer in certain situations.
Speed now coming down, as well as a 3rd base from Weightless at the same exact time. Hellions are going to be the choice for Debaser. He's also building a 3rd command center, so both players are going into a pretty heavy macro game here. They haven't really even poked at each other very much. 2 Zerglings coming into Debaser's base just to see the bunker, and that's it. But besides that, we haven't had any scouting. Weightless knows about nothing other than the bunker and 2 supply depots.
But I do like his positioning of that Overlord. It's a really neat spot where Zerg can hide his Overlord, and the Terran can't see him unless he gets something that's flying. So you can get some free vision there for quite some time. But Debaser is aware that that's probably going on, and he moves his Hellions out through a far supply depot that is out of the vision of the Overlord.
I don't know if you can see this here, but there is a Zergling hiding in the grass right here, outside. Just outside the base, as these 4 Hellions are going to be moving in, seeing a 3rd base. Did they actually see it? Surely they must have, yep. And there's another Overlord hiding in a spot up there where it's, uh-oh. Whoa.
Oh, no.
I just hit the back button. So we're going to see this instant replay. 4 Reapers, or 4 Hellions going to come in and see the 3rd base. Did they actually see it? Let's check. Oh, and they do, because V is right next to B. There's going to be a lot of creep tumors coming out front, so he's going to definitely be hot on spreading the creep. His Queen's just now getting enough energy to put out a couple more. Going to move out. The Hellions are waiting till he gets a.
Oh, it's so many Hellions. Those Queens, and picking off some creep tumors. The Queens move to intercept.
You know, this is a Marine King Prime move we haven't seen in a long time, making Hellions almost purely just for keeping the creep back.
Yeah, and that can be very effective. You know, it's going to slow down the vision. And the Hellions really just gain map control, frankly, because usually Lings are used for that, and they're not going to be very effective against a lot of Hellions. They do go back in to see that 3rd. They're looking for drones and don't see any, so they get out of there.
It's definitely something I haven't seen in a while. That was a really effective tool there for quite a while, as Terran holding the creep of the Zerg back.
Yep. But those double Queens are right at the front, and they, you know, Hellions don't do so great against Queens. Roaches are coming out now. And mines from Debaser, and they're going down right at the edge of that creep.
Yeah, Debaser's really trying to just put a pinch on Weightless here, as this is going to be the main sort of attack path. There's a secondary attack path up here, but because Weightless is expanding to the left, he's trying to just contain him here, which he's doing a great job of. If he was to use a scan, he could really push this creep back even a little farther, but it looks like Roaches are going to come in to put a stop to the Hellions. If he can just get up, he almost could get a trap on him, but no, the Hellions are going to get away as 3 Queens and the Roaches push them right back. Looks like a counterattack as well from Weightless. I turned my sound off there. I just realized that. Hello, Day9. Welcome to the show.
Ling's trying to do a little bit of damage, almost get a mine picked off, but they are unable to, and all that gets cleaned up relatively quickly here.
As I was sitting there, I'm like, why can't I hear any of the Zerglings? Definitely the first time I've ever done that. So it looks like
going down now for our Zerg player.
Armory is going to be going down for Debaser. So he's how many factories does he even have? One factory. Interested to see what he's going to use this for.
Or do see rather centrifugal hooks going down for the Baneling speed, and Aspire is also going down. So we're going to be seeing a transition into Ling Baneling Muta, it would appear.
Yeah, I'm interested to see when the Hive is going to come down, because I do love my adrenal gland upgrade.
There's so many mines on the map, though, but so Weightless is really going to have to be careful, because mines will tear through that composition.
Yeah, the mines aren't spread out all that much, though. They're, you know, a lot of Terrans are using mines as almost creep tumor 2.0.
Yeah.
And Debaser's keeping them close to home at his ramps, but Weightless is definitely onto it as he's keeping a couple overseers with his army so that he's going to see those coming, because you can see a little bit of a dark spot on the ground where those are, but it's not enough that unless you're super keen, which these players are, I'm sure, not super easy to see. Weightless is now going to be taking his 4th base over here. Just popped a few seconds ago, so if he can continue pushing this creep out, which he's doing a good job of, he's slowly moving himself towards Debaser's base, and he's got an Overlord over the, not an Overlord, 3 Zerglings at the 4th base location for Debaser, so he's doing a good job of keeping the base low as these Hellions and Mines move out. Dude, the Mine's going to need to get burrowed so he can bait them back over it.
Yep, those Lings see that and they will run away a little bit. And this army is all over the creep, so Weightless has a great idea of what's going on here. Can attack at his leisure. Banelings made, they have their speed. It's a Ling, Roach, Baneling composition at the moment.
This is going to be a rough push for Weightless as this Bio Mine is such a cool style.
Look at those Baneling hits doing so much damage to the front. Cleaning up a lot of those mines. I don't think there's any mines left, frankly. And
one mine went off and killed quite a few Zerglings, but that definitely didn't go well for Debaser. He's going to have to keep reinforcing his units back here as he unloads. I think he accidentally loaded a few units in that medevac, but pushes Weightless back again, doing some scan. This is going to be huge to clean up all these creep tumors. That was a big advantage for Weightless as he continued to push out, but he's going to be losing a lot of those, but he's got a lot of active ones back still. Weightless going to be moving out to see what he can do. The Ling's going to surround these Hellions. He's going to lose all those Hellions. Marine's going to stim, but he'll probably pick them up as he did and move back.
Yep, and run right over that. Oh, huge mine hit, taking out so many Zerglings.
Mines are so awesome. The units lost tab is fairly even. Weightless has only lost slightly more than Debaser, but Weightless is 1 base ahead now. Even though he's not mining out of it, he is producing a queen, and he's probably going to be putting that down to get gas for some of the beefier tech units here fairly shortly.
A mine drop going in at the main of Weightless from Debaser boosted that in past the Spore Crawler just in time to see those Mutalisks pop out, and they are going to be able to clean that up.
So I'm curious now how Weightless is going to use these Mutalisks to get himself a bit of an advantage, because Debaser is pushing up the front again, and the Mutas are not going to be so useful against these Marines and Mines as the Zerglings try and get a surround for those Banelings. Banelings not doing a lot of damage as the Marines are really spread out. Looks like he's going to be able to almost clean this up, but the Marines with a nice stim are able to push it back.
There's a reinforcement from the back end, and so much of Weightless's army is getting cleaned up. More Banelings in production. The Roaches are hurting really badly.
Both players going to take a moment to gather themselves and recoup what's going on. Debaser gathering his forces, getting a few more mines as Weightless has been doing a great job of taking the mines out. Debaser also getting his 3-3 attack. Concussive Shells is a bit late, but given that there's only been Lings, it hasn't really hurt him too much. Getting plating for his vehicle. Now the Mutas are going to be swinging through the map. Oh, caught in the reinforcement line. Going to be losing a few mines here. Not going to be a huge deal, but Debaser's going to have to deal with that. Looks like he's just going to keep on going and push towards the 4th base.
Yeah, if he scans and doesn't see the army there, he leaves a few units behind to try and bait the army, but the army doesn't take the bait, goes for the main army, and Baneling hits all over the place, doing a lot of damage to that bio.
Debaser having some great micro, doing some nice splits on those Marines. He's really minimizing the impacts of those Banelings as Weightless is really losing a lot of units in these engagements as well. He's only coming out with a couple Banelings and a few Roaches there.
Mute is continuing to harass, but some Marines and Mines greet them. Still a Ling doing some damage to that command center.
We want to just say a quick welcome as we have a bit lull here to all the viewers. Something must have ended because we have 190 viewers now as everyone
Thank you for joining us.
Coming to join us. This is StarCraft 2.
Oh, big mine hit right in the center of the map. Woo!
The Mines and Marines are coming back as Debaser continues to rally his forces towards the middle, wanting to make a real issue of this scanning to take care of all these creep tumors, but Weightless is going to be coming back up, making Banelings. They're going to get stuck here if Debaser gets in there and doesn't get a cancel on the Banelings. Those are going to come down.
Those actually automatically cancel if they die in the process of hatching.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look at all those creep tumors dying. That's really going to hurt. And Debaser's just edging forward with a really commanding army here. I don't know what Weightless is going to do to get himself out of this. I mean, he's really got to get money. Baneling hits, and he's not really succeeding at it. Some of them are good. Some of them are just getting obliterated. And great split from the Debaser, too. He's really splitting his army up smartly to avoid a lot of the massive Baneling hits. A few Banelings, some Lings, but, you know, he gets some good connections there, but just not enough. There's so many Marauders just eating up that damage. The mines go down to deal with any incoming Lings, and there's just not enough units really to do much here.
Ultralisk would have been a strong answer, but alas, the Ultralisk Cavern will go down before he even gets the opportunity to build any. But it looks like Debaser's really pushing in for a kill here, as Weightless is really caught with his pants down here. Those mutas were sitting around another nice mine hit. Those mutas were sitting around not doing a whole lot for a while, as Debaser just continues to push up into Weightless's natural expansion. Weightless doesn't have much answer. The Lings come in, but alas, they can't really do anything, and that's the GG from Weightless.
GG.
Woo, that was quite the game.
That was some pretty entertaining stuff. You know, as much as I hate mines and Banelings when I'm going up against them, they make for some entertaining gameplay, let me tell you what.
They do. It's such a huge positioning thing, and it really seemed like Debaser has the actions required to be able to execute that well, because when those Zerglings were coming in and the Banelings to surround those battle units, they were splitting 5 different ways at once. It's really awesome to see that. It reminds me of, actually Debaser's play reminds me a lot of MKP.
Yep. I was thinking the exact same thing. It's just, really good spreading, minimizing that damage, making sure if Banelings do hit, they're hitting on the Marauders and not on the Marines. So really minimizing that damage that goes through. And, having his mines at strategic positions, he was able to put them in places that Weightless just wasn't expecting. And that ended up costing him a lot in Lings.
Yeah, Debaser is Grandmaster now that I'm seeing this.
And we can understand why, based on the play that we're